personas. Eddie Hearn is another one.
What are your actual thoughts on Eddie Hearn? I know you've had a lot of dealings with him in the past, similar to David Hay, but what's your actual opinion of Eddie Hearn?
Not a lot. He's a spoiled brat, and he's not a good manager at all, because he's cost AJ 110 million and got him beat 3 times. I won't want him managing me.
Do you put AJ's career and how he's been moulded down to Eddie Hearn? Do you think if AJ was managed differently, his career could have turned out a bit different in terms of the losses?
It any different. The man's a multi-millionaire. You know, he's been a world champion. He's give everybody some good, pleasurable nights, hasn't he? So what we do is support him for what he's done. You know, forget what he is now. So what? He's a beaten fighter. He's lost 3 times now, hasn't he? At the end of the day, he's not the man he was. But there's still a big demand for people to see him box.
Those are the words of John Fury. As we heard John Fury say that Eddie Hearn is a bad manager or promoter. And, you know, because of that, Anthony Joshua has lost or been beaten 3 times. And his quote was, "Hey, I wouldn't want him to be my promoter." And then as you heard him say, well, is it anything Anthony Joshua could have done? You know, and he said, no, there's nothing he could have done. He got beat. So how is it that if Anthony Joshua is going to get beat anyway, how does that reflect Eddie Hearn? I mean, you can't say one thing and then turn around and contradict yourself right away, you know, without acknowledging yourself. Like, you know, I know it sounds contradicting, but he didn't. He just said, you know what, Eddie Hearn's a bad promoter. He got him beat 3 times. Well, they're like, okay, well, is there anything that Anthony Joshua would have done or could have done? He was like, no, he couldn't. You know, there's nothing he could have done. He would have got beat anyway. Well, he would have got beat anyway. That's the whole point. So how does that have anything to do with Eddie Hearn? And let's move forward to see what else Mr. John Fury has to say.
Eddie Hearn's done a good job of him, up to press. But he's made a couple of big mistakes late on in his career by turning down 15 million quid stand-aside money, and AJ would have fought Usyk. And then the belts would have been back in the UK, all of them. And again, we're here now today offering him nearly half of everything across the board. We still can't get him to sign. So if Eddie Hearn's saying don't sign, I'd reconsider.
That leads us perfectly onto the AJ fight. Everyone's talking about it, John. I know you yourself have praised AJ recently in the past, and you've said you've always wanted to see that fight happen.
I have, yes. And I don't understand why they won't sign. Unless they come out with some proper stuff and explain themselves right and say, well, look, you know, it's like this. I'm coming off a loss. I want some time out of the game with the family. I want to enjoy myself. I want to take months out, take a look at my career, see where I'm at. We'd understand that. Fair dues, no problem. He's earned that right. But to keep giving it the big and saying you want to do this and you want to do that. But what they want is a to and fro for the next 2 years. Because they can make money off it. They can make money off of all of that. But we don't want to do that. We want to get it boxed off, done and fought, and on to the next move. Chase Usyk down, man. That's the job. The fighters. Tyson's a fighter. And that's what we want to do. You know, chase them all down, beat them, put them in their place, shut all these people up what thinks Tyson ain't the real deal. Because people out there still think Tyson ain't the real deal, which is incredible. People do think like that. But, again, it's an opinion. But we know we can beat these men.
So, again, John Fury, right away. Eddie Hearn's a good promoter. I'm like, okay, but then you just said he wasn't. Anyway, moving forward, they want a back and forth, want a rematch clause, or, you know, want to carry this on the next 2 years or whatever because they want to make money off of it. Well, that's exactly what the negotiations were. Rematch. There was a rematch clause. So that was in the contract between the two. I guess the contract that's still trying to be finalized, still trying to be made, fell apart. I don't know at this point, but we know that there was a rematch clause. So, yes, that makes things drag along because the first fight hasn't happened yet. And that seems like it'll take a miracle to happen, let alone contractual agreement to fight him again. Whoever wins gets an automatic rematch clause. Okay, so how will you say you're just trying to square that up like he's going to fight just one time and beat Anthony Joshua one time and then go on to Usyk? It's not going to work that way. It's not going to happen that way at all. So if he fought Joshua, it will be a rematch clause, because that was one of the first things and the first snags in the contract, that, hey, I want 50-50, or I want a bigger upside if I beat you on the rematch. That's how that was. That was the problem that Team Joshua had against Team Fury, and they wanted to cut it down 50-50 right up the middle, right? So that's what we're dealing with. So I don't see why John would say anything otherwise unless he doesn't know the contract himself, okay? But anyway, Eddie's a bad promoter. Now he's a good promoter. Tyson Fury wanted to fight Usyk, but, he wanted to fight Joshua right away to get to Usyk. So it's strange. It's strange. Let's continue.
Where are we at then with the fight from your...
Well, to be honest with you, Tyson's been banging his drum now non-stop, hasn't he? Since he lost to Usyk, a month ago now? And all we get is nothing. A load of excuses back. He's been offered everything. Tyson said, look, whatever you want, you've got it. Let's just fight. Sign the contract. No. So, there's only one reason they won't sign, because they don't want it.
Okay. Whatever you want, sign the contract. See, and then it's amazing how secondhand information gets so watered down. That's not what it was. It wasn't whatever Anthony Joshua or Team Joshua wanted. Okay, what they fucking wanted was another date, which was December 17th, and more time to finalize the contract that they just supposedly got. That's what it was. According to John Fury, it's whatever they wanted, that wasn't enough. And that's not how it went. Okay, people are acting like, hey, well, Joshua's stepping down and this, that, and the other. You ask, where the hell is Joshua? I just made a video about that. That may come out after this, actually. But the thing it trips me out how, how a person can narrate a particular narrative, and have you thinking a certain way, like, man, they give him all, because just listening to John Fury, it's like, well, Tyson gave him everything. Tyson gave him everything. You know what Tyson didn't give him? The one thing that is most important than any fucking thing on this planet. Time. See, if you would have gave someone time, there's nothing wrong with, all right, let me get Manuel Char a contract. Set that shit to the side. Let's see what Team Joshua's going to do, because that's the prize. Okay? That's the prize that we want to, accomplish, because that's the best fight that I can make now for the money that I want to make. I fight Dillian White. I fight Anthony Joshua. Those are the two British rivals. I got rid of one. That was my ex-friend, ex-sparring partner, whatever. I got him one and done 6th round, gave him a good left uppercut and took him on out of here, right? Paid him and sent him on his way, slapped him on the ass and get out of here. The next, at the end of the year, should have been Anthony Joshua. And you're telling me that you couldn't wait 2 fucking weeks to do that. And in the irony of it, the contract, according to Eddie Hearn, would take 2 fucking weeks. So the 2 weeks they needed, I think, that's what they wanted. If they would have gave that, it would have been not a problem. And then you wouldn't have gave anybody any room to stand on. See, whenever you start putting your foot down and saying, hey, this is how it's going to be, you can't turn around and then say, hey, we gave them whatever they wanted. That does not make sense. It seems like a relationship that just went bad, and then you're hearing one side of the story. Okay? And that's far from the truth. That is not the truth, and that is not what happened. Okay? And what's happening is, I don't know. I don't know what's happening. According to Eddie Hearn, I think they're still working on the deal, but I don't know. I don't know. I mean, because you hear Tyson Fury talk, but if his words don't mean much, they may still be working on the deal. You don't know. Only time can tell, because as far as I was concerned, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, those 3 days, we supposed to have got in the mindset that Tyson Fury has scrapped negotiations because of what he said Monday after 5 p.m. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think of this particular exclusive interview with John Fury. Shout out to Joe on the channel, Joe. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.